Oh, nothing here. Just some frog sex. Hey guys, it's a Monday. Nice car. It's Monday morning. We're out here taking a walk in the park, taking a walk at the Royal Gardens. A new subscriber wanted to know the best way to find a teaching job in Cambodia. I've covered that in other videos, of course, but I do not expect somebody to just go through and listen to me talk for that long, that many times, just to get the information they want. So I will cover that here real quick. The best way to get a job, a teaching job in Cambodia, is to show up in Cambodia. Get dressed up, put on a nice shirt, button-up shirt, some khakis, dress shoes, a tie. If you're a man, wear a tie. Go to all the schools you can and drop off your CV or resume packet. They are of course the same thing. It depends on what you want to call it. You should have a cover letter. Your resume itself should have, of course, the usual information, but you should also be sure you have your email address and your Cambodian telephone number attached to it. It's very important. A lot of schools here will not respond to emails, so you will need a way for them to get a hold of you. That would, of course, be your phone number. You will need a passport size photo, a nice one. Again, be sure in that photo you're wearing a button-up shirt and a tie, and you look as presentable as you can. You will need a passport size photo that you will need to attach to your resume or CV. You can buy boxes of paper clips here for like 25 cents. Use that. Make a bunch of copies of everything. CV, cover letter. Be sure you also have copies of your TEFL certificate and your TEFL certificate transcripts, which you should receive with your certificate. Be sure on your resume to put down any relevant experience, especially with children. It doesn't even have to be teaching. If you were a summer camp volunteer to help with children, that's all going to be in your favor. If you taught children how to swim, that will be in your favor. If you had anything to do at all with children in a positive aspect, put that somewhere on your resume. You then take all that information. You will have a copy of your cover letter. You will have a copy of your resume with an attached color passport size photo. You will have a copy of your TEFL certificate and a copy of your TEFL certificate transcripts. Place them in a manila envelope. Seal the envelope. Write your name on the outside of the envelope and make a bunch of copies of them. Have them all ready. Then grab yourself a tuk-tuk and go to every school you can find. Just walk in and tell them, I'm here for an English teaching position, and the person you speak to will more than likely not be a director or somebody in charge, but they will be sure that your packet gets to somebody who is in charge. While some countries you can find a job, a guaranteed job, before you even arrive in a country, That's just usually not the way it's done here in Cambodia. A lot of these schools don't even have a website or a web presence of any kind. And even if they do have an email address, if they are not actively hiring at the time, your information could just sit in an email box forever before anybody would even think to check it. So the best way is boots on the ground. Get out there, hit up any school you can find. When I first got here, I made 40 copies of all my information. My resume, cover letter, TEFL certificate, all of that. I just made 40 copies of each. And it took me a while before I figured out that you had to have the photo attached to your resume, but it has to be separate from the resume. What I did was just paste a picture. I pasted my passport picture right on my resume. I thought I was smart. I would save time and money by not having to buy separate passport pictures. They do not want that. They want a separate color passport size picture, paper clipped to your resume. So that, in a nutshell, is how you go about finding a teaching job here in Cambodia. There are no guarantees, of course, but I said this just a few videos ago. The best time to apply would be in August, because new semesters start in September, and a lot of the foreign teachers that are currently employed, their contracts will have run out. They will be moving on to their next country, or they'll be going home, or not renew their contract for whatever reason. So there is always a dearth of English teachers about that time. So most schools will be very interested. However, they do hire all year round, just not as much as they would in August and early September. So there's never a bad time. You don't have to worry about coming over here and having the schools be on summer vacation or something. So I do have other information in some of my other videos. Feel free to look through them to find the information you want, but in a nutshell, that is the best way to find a teaching job in Cambodia. And it's starting to rain. Oh, yep. Yeah, the sky is looking bleak, my friends. Yikes. Just started feeling a few drops. Looks like we're gonna have to hurry on home. We're going, we gotta get across that bridge over there and then down a few blocks. So I will talk to you guys later. There we go. She's finally waving hi. This video, she thought I was taking a picture earlier, and I told her to say hi, and she was just smiling for the camera because she thought it was a photo and not video. Anyway, I'm going to touch on something else here. It's a complicated subject, and it has a lot of ins and outs and what have yous. But somebody wanted to know about relationships over here with like a Western man and a local woman. So the first thing I'm going to say is there are a lot of myths surrounding that subject. There's a lot of disagreement surrounding that subject on certain matters. And I'm also going to say this as a disclaimer: taking relationship advice from me is about the same thing as taking sex advice from the Pope. You should just get the advice from people who have experience in certain things and leave the rest to somebody else. My relationships have always been a mess. I have a string of failed ones, stretching all the way back to when I was a young man. But I'll give you everything I know from my personal experience. Maybe yours will be different. Maybe yours will be the same. Everybody knows, except maybe for the new people, that I met sang in a bar on a Saturday night. We hit it off, and to make a long story short, she just kind of never left. She just kept hanging out. And that's really the really short, abbreviated version of the story. How we met. But finding a woman here, the first myth, and keep in mind there's a certain amount of truth when you hear some of these things, but the way some people make it sound, they try to make it sound as if it's so pervasive and common that it's hard for anything else. But the first myth is that you live in this part of the country, you're going to hear a lot about ladyboys. There are ladyboys here. They are accepted as members of society. They are not judged by the local people. There are certain bars that attract more ladyboys than others. But the myth that any Asian female you meet is a ladyboy, or that ladyboys are trying to trick you by not telling you that they are actually men is false. They will readily tell you they're not. It's not like they're ashamed of it. They're not trying to trap anybody into doing anything. If you think about it, that whole myth is kind of crazy. You go, you meet somebody you think is a girl. They actually tell you, yes, they're a woman. And think about the next logical steps after that. After you leave the establishment and you go back to your place or her place. Yeah, think about where that goes. What would be the point in them saying that if they know you're going to find out in just an hour or so anyway? You see what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And it's been my experience that they are very fun-loving people, and they are very proud of who they are and have no reason to hide it. So you're not going to meet a lot of ladyboys for a romantic situation unless you specifically are looking for that. In that case, there are places available where you can do so. Second myth is that they're all ladies of the evening because they work in a bar or they're a hostess at a bar. Again, that's one of the tricky ones. There is some truth in that. There are freelancers all around. They will accept money in exchange for sexual favors. Well, however, unlike back in the West, at least where I come from, for them it's not just about the money. Even though it's a poor country, I have seen these women turn down certain men who were drunk and being dicks. It's the best way to put it. And no matter how much money they were offered, they just will not leave with that man. Because for them, it's still about your personality. If they want to go home with you, they will. If they don't, if they really don't, there's no amount of money. Hello! There's no amount of money you can give them to make them do so. It's just the way it is. Let me finish this up here in a minute. Be right back. Alright, sorry for that interruption. Even though when you're watching this video, it just went right to this clip. There was no interruption, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that just because of the woman's profession doesn't mean she's an immoral or a bad person. A lot of women who work in that profession actually do not come from Siem Reap. They come from small little villages, rural areas. And when they get old enough, they leave to go to the cities to find whatever kind of job they can that they will be able to support themselves and also be able to send money back home to their families. Family is, of course, the number one thing here. Very important. They will do what it takes to be able to send money back to their families. So it's not a permanent life choice for them in a lot of cases. So don't be judgmental is what I'm trying to say. Whoa. Thing almost took a diver back there. It's been raining. We got flip-flops on, and some of these sidewalks are really slippery and uneven. Bad combination. But dating a regular Khmer girl, it's kind of like in the West. The other myth is that they all want money. They're only interested in you for money. You are nothing more than a walking ATM to them. And again, as I said, there is some truth to that. There are some women who see a Western person and believe that we are wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. I've heard a lot of horror stories, failed relationships that were brutal because of this. But again, I would take it easy blaming just the women, because you'll be able to recognize the ones that are like that really, really quick. And the reason you don't is because you stop thinking with the head on your shoulders, because you're with a young, beautiful foreign woman. She's telling you things that you want to hear, and you're just buying her whatever she wants. She wants a Western lifestyle, and over here, even though it's still less expensive than actually in the West, you will go through a lot of money really quick. And they fall in love, and they get blinded to what's actually going on around them. Everybody else can see it except them. And then they go around spreading the rumor that all these women over here are just gold diggers who want you for your money. This is completely incorrect. Most of them are not like that. Now, it's a very poor country. Is money important? Yes, it is. I mean, I want money. If somebody said, I will offer to pay your bills, I will let them do it. Gladly, right now. If you don't believe me, down below this video, in the little description box, there's a donate button. Feel free to donate your entire life savings to me if you want. I will thank you profusely. I will tell you what a wonderful human being you are, even if I do not know you. It would be great if you did that. But what I'm saying is, yeah, money is important. But it's not the only thing that's important. Just like back in the West, you meet a woman, you start having a relationship, you want to take care of her. That phrase, to take care of her, means different things to different people. But it's in my experience so far that an occasional $4 or $5 dress or a $4 or $5 pair of shoes is just as good as some bling bling. Really expensive bling bling. Because it is the thought behind it that I'm doing this because I want to, not because I feel I have to. Things are about to get really dark here. Pretend like you're in a horror movie and just play along. This is the best my camera does. But yeah, the phrase take care of her is really quite simple. They want a place to live. They want security. They want to be able to eat, of course. Where it gets tricky is that traditionally a man will be, I won't say required, but he will be expected to not only take care of the woman but also her family. If she has a mother and a father, brothers and sisters, and they need money, the Western man will be expected to take care of that financial situation. This isn't always the case, of course. There are always exceptions, but I'm saying for the most part, in this culture, that is what is expected. So let's say your future mother and father-in-law lose the roof on their house during a tumultuous storm. You will be expected to pay to get that replaced. But these are questions you will have to ask each individual woman, of course. Like I said, it's not universal here. It's not 100% everybody. But now let's talk what you get in return for all that. You're like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna meet a Khmer woman. We're gonna hit it off. She can live in my apartment. I'll pay the rent. I'll pay the bills. I'll buy all the food and everything. But what's in it for me? Well, the good news is almost everything else. Most Khmer women will not mind getting a job if need be to help support the family. Really, they won't. Keep in mind that is only going to pay about between $80 and $170 a month. So it won't be a lot, but it will be something. And in one respect, it's still kind of old-fashioned over here. She will make sure always your needs are taken care of. You'll have clean clothes. You'll get home-cooked meals every day, 2 or 3 times a day. She'll clean the house. She'll do the dishes. She'll, like I said, wash the clothes. And the price you're paying over here to live a local lifestyle is so cheap, that is a bargain. That's what I'm going to say. It's a bargain. Now, on the other hand, another myth is that because they traditionally do this thing for men, a lot of people expect when they come to any part of Asia that the women here will be docile, that they will be subjugated to you and what you want, that they will not have opinions, and that they will obey your every command. This, my friends, is a lie. It is a bold-faced lie, and one that needs to be eradicated, because I think that's also where a lot of men get in trouble when they come over here expecting like a geisha girl type of situation. These women here are very feisty. They are very nice, very generous, very loving, and they also are very short-tempered if they feel you have done something to embarrass them, or something you did that they feel was wrong. If they feel wronged, you will have their wrath. And that is something you don't ever want to experience. And they will be opinionated, but on the other hand, they will also point out things that they feel are wrong with you, but they don't do it to demean you or emasculate you. They do it because they want to see you succeed, because they know your success is theirs. And they want to be sure you are happy and successful. As far as meeting a girl, I would just say get out there. Much like the jobs, just get out there. Start talking. Ask to buy them a drink in a bar. See if you hit it off. or just ask for a phone number from somewhere you go, maybe a coffee shop, maybe somebody's working in a laundry, you're attracted to them, you're like, hey, you know, just like you would in the West, I want to ask you out, can I have your phone number? Here's my phone number. Any number of things. Hello. Well, that's all I have to say about that subject. We're almost home now, and I guess this is a good place as any to end this video. If you have any other questions or comments, of course, leave them below. If you have an alternate opinion or maybe an experience with what I've talked about, again, just leave them in the comments. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.